All right, blessings. Moving on to the fire fixed side of Leo. And for Leo, Spirit pulled the Aries season message of like attracts like. And it's a very simple message, but a very powerful message. And it reminds us that what we wish, what we desire is really what we should be projecting out. If you long for more love, be more loving. And when this brings the call to Leo during this Aries season, Leo is governed by the sun. So sun is a luminosity. And like the sun, and for Leo, a lot of their fire, a lot of their courage, like the courageous lion, is predicated off of their heart or their drive. If Leos feel very passionate or they feel as if they can do anything, then there's really nothing that can stop them. Once they have the enthusiasm within themselves or have all those comforts and feel validated within their heart, that's where their fuel comes from. So sometimes it can be really, when it comes to manifesting, we manifest that which we are feeling within ourselves. So if we're feeling this lack, then we're going to manifest that. So this works doubly true for Leo, where the way they look at the situation is predicated off of how they're feeling. Because if their sun goes out, then everything is dark, everything is dreary, and they may come off as dramatic and doing too much, or can get into a very heightened state or a very depressive state. And this is all predicated off of that fixed fire. This is that emotional flame that if that sun is there, then they're ready to go. Everything is great. They're great to be around. And then when they don't have that energy, they go into these depressive, moody states and tragic theatrics, really. So during this Aries season, a lot of my Leos, like, we have this message of like attracts to like. There's really this call. You're coming back around after isolations. You're coming back around because you're longing for something. You know, you're the sign of regality. You know, the kings, the lions and lionesses of the zodiac. So a lot of times you're used to getting things, and you are used to getting pampered. You're used to receiving gifts of adoration, validation, and appreciation. You know, you live for those things. You have to take it for what it is. You are used to being pampered, or you enjoy those shows of pampering and just that security. It gives you self-esteem. It gives you boost. It gives you that life force that you feel that you deserve and need to really just to be able to function. So you're coming back around in these spaces and these dynamics because you're longing for this energy. You've been through a lot, and your ability coming out of this winter season into the blooming Aries season of the spring maiden. You want to feel some warmth in the barren, the dryness, when the sun can be kind of scorching. Like, just speaking on even a moon placement, a Leo moon placement, that moon energy can sometimes kind of create kind of a drier emotional disposition. It can kind of feel like a savanna desert. So it might not be the heat. It might have a lot of heat, but lacks that moisture. So there may not be a lot of room sometimes for a lot of emotional clarity. It may just be the sun illuminating a situation, and you may feel scorched. You are looking for that life force. So this is really a big call during this time for you, that you have to give out the energy you wish to receive. But that's challenging when you're in such a depressive state, or when you're holding on to an energy, because you magnetize that out. With Aries season being the autopiloted manifesting driving force to just create and do and make things happen, you may not even have awareness that what you're projecting out or creating or manifesting out into the world around you is predicated off of how you feel, and a reflection of what you don't have and what you feel that you're chasing. So you're projecting more of that out into the world around you. So the message from Spirit talking about like attracts like is actually also a reinforcement or a call to awareness about bringing or embodying or initiating what you long for is what you need to initiate, instead of just waiting to receive. The fact that we really came from the Aquarius season really had a big impact on you, because the Aquarius season made everything light. There were a lot of material things, a lot of foundations that were kind of taken away or just restructured or repurposed, that kind of left you feeling like, you know, wait a minute, like, I needed that. You had these things, these support systems, these material comforts, these comfort foods, these comfort indulgences, just these excessive things that you may or may not have been appreciating or have been on the fence about making decisions about, and now that they've gotten away from you or they've been devalued, you're coming back seeking a way to rebalance yourself. And really confirming on this, we have two strong messages, earthy, very earthy signs, Two of Pentacles as well as the Nine of Pentacles. So there's definitely been some indecision as far as how to let go of what it is that you truly want. There's clearly an inclination that there's an enticing, but you're not honoring it. You're still on the fence about it. So with the Two of Pentacles here, one of the things that for my Leos with this coming out from Spirit Called Message is that pride can really be one of the things that hold you back. You may not be allowing emotions into the matter. You simply are only allowing the aspect of that which it is that you may be able to receive something, and deciding what the benefit is that's not allowing you to actually put in the initial investment, which is you have to initiate the love, you have to initiate the energy. You're so used to showing up as if when you show up with your energy, you're expecting to be greeted before a audience, or to have someone has to have an audience with you. So it's almost as if you're so used to people bringing things to you that when you show up, you expect to just receive without necessarily having to put anything in, which is why we have the Nine of Pentacles here, because there's been a lot of this going on. This is a reflection that this has been going on for quite some time, and that this work or inversion, the lack of work that's been put in, has been going on for a long season. And now that the springtime is coming back around, you're looking for something to bloom, but you didn't even plant the seeds before the winter started because you just said, fuck it, I don't even know if I'm going to get through the winter. And you somehow made it through these points, made it through these spiritual winters, and now that you're in the springtime expecting things to grow, you're looking for a harvest that's not actually there. So you have to start with what's actually available to you. You have to acknowledge that your pride and your ego brought about these situations, and that you didn't even do the initial things required to be prepared for the season's enjoyment at hand. So love attracts like is also a call for you to realize that if you are not enjoying what it is that you have around you, take a look at what has been seeded. Like attracts like means that you don't like it, you put that energy into the situation. You put don't like, you put a lack of appreciation, an appropriation or an entitlement energy into the situation. And now that you're coming back around, you're only getting back the entitlement of that which you have created. There's a shallowness, and it doesn't feel like there's any fruit. So you're realizing that you have a lot more to create, and you're at a loss for how to express or create, to bridge this gap, really, how to communicate this or how to satisfy this missing need. Strong, yeah, that definitely puts a lot of mental weight. You're in your head about this a lot. The Two of Pentacles definitely confirms that there's a tug of war between the heart and the head space. You're not admitting, you're not being authentic, you're not willing to come humble. You're used to being on top, so you don't want to have to come into a position where you have to admit where your standing is at this time. With this Aries season, there's definitely a flux of feelings, and with the Libra full moon and the changing dynamics, this is a lot of the people that you're meeting during this time and seeding during the weeks that follow. You're seeing the new connections and how you have to look at these people, these perceptions and these energies in a different light, and you have to acknowledge that these situations and dynamics have changed, that you can't hold these people in the same light and in the same perceptions anymore. It's only diminishing what it is that you could have just to maintain the perception of what you've created around for yourself, to feel this sense of security within this ego bubble. The Aries season is really throwing a lot at you during this time, but a lot of it's predicated off of calling you back into awareness of being authentic. Pride is really robbing you of authentic relationships, is robbing you of the authentic happiness and enjoyment that you could have, because it's requiring you to have an initiation. You're used to the universe compromising for you and just saying, you know what, I know you're a spoiled child, but I'm going to go ahead and give this to you anyway. And you're so used to that now that it's not happening, and you're like kind of waiting, like, okay, I know any moment now, like, you know, mom or dad's going to come in the room and go ahead and just say, you know what, you're all punishment. And it's like, no, you're not. Like attracts like. You have to initiate this. No one's going to give you the thing that you're looking for anymore just because you're simply there. You have to initiate to create that reverberation. You're not receiving anything back during these full moon harvests because you didn't seed anything during the new moons. You didn't seed anything good to receive anything good back. You're receiving back everything that you seeded. And it doesn't taste good. You have to account for that. Like attracts like. It's a reflection of time to get right. During this Aries season, there's so many rounds of emotions that are transpiring, taking place, that this is a call to go inward and really acknowledge the fact that you may have vulnerabilities, that you're not quite right in every area of yourself, and that it is causing you to get these fixed outcomes because you have a fixed sign. And you have to acknowledge within yourself that you may not be shifting the nature of allowing for acceptance, allowing for you to be the one to compromise for change. You're a fixed sign. It's hard to compromise. You have to compromise if you wish to change this narrative, because it's going to be this way for a great chunk, a great deal of this year, a great deal of the cycle going on for some years to come. This Libra full moon is really shaping a lot of connections and shifting them in a way that you're going to have to accept the changes that come from going on from here on out. So as you take your divine breath through this Aries season, allow yourself to have a moment of pause. The last season, especially the Aquarius season, there was a lot of cutting of heads and a lot of cold judgments and connections, and you may have felt right because of how you were received and how things had transpired. But looking at where you are now, everything comes back into equilibrium, everything comes back into balance. And it's a time to adjust, pivot, and allow for some fluidity. Allow for your heart to open up so that your sun can illuminate the spaces and not to just fall into despair. As you take your divine breath, ask yourself, what areas have you been delaying on decisions and not acknowledging what you could put in, and just been expecting to receive and not taking account of the work that has not been done on your part. Nine of Pentacles reverse. Bring that into your awareness and allow yourself to see what you can channel this Aries active, courageous energy into. What areas can you put this courageous energy into to override fear, and where fear has been a resistance, a karmic resistance within your path. I hope that this message resonates within your energy field and you're able to apply it through this Aries season. Much love, many blessings, and Ashe.